Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto here with another live stream of my trading journal. So this is the trading session review from the last night session. So that was the night of the 2nd of August and the morning of the 3rd of August in Australian time. It's Chappie's Crypto here. I'm trading in my demo account and I will get straight into it. So I'll just do a quick review of the results for last night and then I'll get into what actually played out. So for people that aren't familiar with my journey, I'm trading a demo account. So I've set up a demo account on Tradeovate. If you're not familiar with how to use Tradeovate, or if you're interested in using Tradeovate as a platform, you just check out tradeovate.com. There's no referral for anything like that. It's a really straightforward futures platform to use to trade on. And one of the cool things on there is once you've funded your account, you can fund it for as little as $500, and you don't need to even start trading with that. And you can set up a demo account, which I've got. I started my demo account with a $10,000 balance. And for people that are familiar, I'll just quickly put my goals up for a second. My goals with my trading strategy at the moment is to save my initial balance to $10,000 so I can start trading with $10,000 real cash. So I want to wait till I've got $10,000 saved. Another goal is to double my demo account. So I'm trying to take my $10,000 demo account, get up to $20,000. And I'm going to rewatch the ICT or Inner Circle Trader video series or mentorship series on YouTube. For people that don't know what that is, this is the particular trading strategy that I'm trying to teach myself and learn. So if you do a search on YouTube for the Inner Circle Trader, come along into his website. You go to into his YouTube channel, I should say. If you go to playlists and check out this playlist here, which is a 2022 ICT membership or mentorship, I should say. If you click on the playlist there, it'll actually go through that, but you can see there's 20 of these. I'm actually just started episode 12 for the second time through, and as I said, my goal is to rewatch all of those videos. So I'm halfway. I just started episode 12 yesterday. And I've really enjoyed watching it through the second time. So my results for last night on my demo account, overtraded a little bit. I'll go into that a little bit in a minute. So on reflection, which is what's the power of doing this process, to reflect on your trades, I ended up trading with a total profit, net profit of 308. Overtraded though, which I'll go into. So actually $718 worth of profitable trades and $378 of losing trades. So, it's actually not a bad result with a $10,000 limit for someone that's, just working away at this. So that's not bad. However, when I reflect on my trades, I could have really done much better if I didn't overtrade. So for people that aren't familiar, I trade the Nasdaq micro E-mini Nasdaq futures contract, currently trading the September contract. So that's the September contract there for people that are familiar. And I also have the S&P 500 September contract open as well, the micro E-mini contract. So if you've watched ICT mentorship series, or if you watch any of his videos, he just did a video yesterday with his market review where he talks about August is a bit of a tough month to trade. Reason being is that apparently in August, this is for a guy who's been trading for almost 30 years, talks about the fact that it's often time in America, but I'm assuming a lot of people are away, going on holidays, all that sort of stuff. So the market's just a bit tough to trade. And he himself has shared on his videos that he's sitting on the market for a little while, or is just not looking for those big trades. So I've taken that on notice. I've obviously traded with a demo account, so I'll continue to trade, but it's just something interesting to note as well from his experience. I have my chart set up this way, so I've got it currently set on a 1 minute chart on both of them. I have them side by side on TradingView. And let's just get straight into the first trade I took for the night. Was just after market open. So ICT talks about market open and looking at the market from 8:30 in the morning New York time. So I typically have my time set to New York time. I just changed it there so I can get my times right based on Australian time as well. So that's 8:30 in the morning American time or New York time, and that's where we start looking for trade setups. So I'll just focus on the S&P and go talk through the trades I did on that for the moment. The two lines I've got marked out are from the 15-minute chart. So when I do my sort of setup and start looking for opportunities, I do mark the previous high before market open at the 15-minute, and I mark the previous low on the 15-minute before market open. So it's just the previous or the last high before the 8:30 and the last low before 8:30. So that's kind of the trading range I'm looking for opportunities to take place within. And what I was really looking for, and I was a little bit impatient, I really wanted to be in the market. Unfortunately, it's one thing I'm really learning about this patience piece. I overtraded here, so really what I should be waiting for is this price to be broken, and then once this price is to be broken, I was short bias. When I did my daily review, I looked at the markets and I thought, look, I think we may get a bit of a movement down, so I was looking for opportunities to go short. And what I was looking for is I was looking for the price to break through this area, do a bit of a setup and move that direction. So that's what I was looking for. Now, when the market opened, it did this, started to move down. We've got a market structure shift here, or break. So I thought, you know what, there's a possible opportunity here. I was being a little bit overly zealous. I convinced myself that, you know, we're not going to break this high here. So if you look, if I'll zoom right in here and I'll just show you exactly what my rationale was to take this trade. And because I wasn't just starting out for the night, not overly confident, I had only placed one contract on this one to start with. So we've got a market structure break here. We do have a fair value gap just there. It's only a little one. And so I placed an order to do one short sell. So I sold one contract at that level. I had my stop loss placed just above this level here. So I had it, actually, I think I had it on that line. So it's just up at this level. That was my stop loss. So I placed the order. It initially went in my favor for a little bit, and then it started to retrace. Now, what I did notice, I've got another fair value gap here. So I thought, you know what? I've just convinced myself here that's definitely a nice, big, strong market structure break. We're going to come back. We're going to take this fair value gap, and then we're going to do this. That was what I was thinking. So I took another 4 positions or another 4 contracts at that level. And similarly, I placed a stop loss for that just above this previous high back here. In retrospect, when I look at this, because I wasn't, you know, not convinced that this was the right setup, because ideally when you think about it, I probably should have really waited for the price to break up here. A more sensible place for my stop loss should have been at this level. So if I placed my stop loss there, it just would have been a probably slightly more appropriate place to play it. I'm not overly upset about taking those positions initially. However, you know, it would have probably been better wait for the price to come up here. And sure enough, because I wasn't patient enough, I paid a bit of a lesson. Luckily for me, I moved my stop a tiny bit just to give it a little bit of room, but almost every time I do that, I'm finding, or most times I do that, I end up getting stopped out. So it is what it is. So that first contract, for people that are new to trading, and particularly futures, when you take a short position, you sell one contract, and your stop loss, when it gets executed, it buys it back, or it buys it. So the net effect is you have 0 positions. So that first contract was bought back and closed out that position with a loss of $28. And this position here of the 4 contracts, it got stopped out at that level and a loss of $75. So not a great way to start the session, but you know, as over done with, and I look for next opportunity. I was still looking and still thinking we were headed this direction, and we've just had this nice market break, or nice break of the range here. So what I was looking for is a high to form, and then a fair value gap to form, and then take a short position again, because I was hopeful this price is headed this direction, and I did read the direction right, which was nice, and I took another position. So then for people that are new to futures, the market gets a bit nuts at 9:30. So 9:30 New York time, the equities market opens, and we've just got this really big volatility happening. And look at this. I was pretty stoked with this little setup. It regained my losses pretty quickly and easily. Nice position, and I suppose ultimately, if I'd been a bit conservative here, or just been a bit more careful, if I put my stop here, I probably would have only given away $30, $40 there. Or alternatively, I could take a larger position and still take a $100 hit roughly. However, this setup here, beautiful. So check out this price break through the range. Come back down. We've got a nice market structure break here. So they're nice strong candles, really good stuff. And I'm looking for price to come back to a fair value gap or an imbalance. That's my imbalance I was looking for, and I got filled there. Stop loss placed just above here. So I had 4 contracts and took a sell position there, and wasn't being greedy. My ultimate target was actually the bottom of this range. That's what I was really hoping to hold out for. However, I also placed my first take profit of 2 positions at that level. So bang, 2 take. I started to lose a bit of confidence and say, you know what, profit's profit, let's just take it, and I close out the rest of the whole position. As it turns out, and if you watched what the market did, it did retrace. So at that point I was feeling, nice job, I've executed that trade and I've locked in some nice profits. So 117 plus 125, there's, what's that, good $250 profit roughly. So I was pretty stoked, but price did actually go all the way down to where my ideal target was, and then it started to head off. So ultimately, pretty happy with that result on the S&P. Not a bad little session there on the S&P, so it's pretty cool. Now, if you were really, by that stage, Australian time, I think that was well past, that was probably about 12:30 or just after midnight. So for me, that was done. I'll go to the Nasdaq in a second and explain the trades I took there. However, if you were trading into the evening or Australian time or early morning in New York, and if you watch the market here, there is actually a couple more setups. So price broke through the bottom of this range and started to head the other direction. So at that point, you could have possibly started to look for long opportunities or for long positions, as we've hit the bottom of the range. Market structure break, nice strong move up here. So when we're looking at this, we've got this shift up, we've got a nice fair value gap there, and anywhere in here would have been a great time to take a long. So for me, based on the type of trading I'm doing at the moment, I would have taken a long there. I would have placed my stop loss down here, and look at this movement. You could have taken some profits there, and it just moves really nicely. So if anyone ever challenges ICT's approach to trading, his approach to based on the algorithm he talks about, almost every day I'm seeing these setups, and they're just gold. So I'm really enjoying this particular type of trading. As I said, overtraded a little bit here. I still think they're valid setups. Just probably need to be a bit more patient, waiting for this break of these ranges and take my positions when that happens. So that was the S&P, and interestingly enough, the Nasdaq was almost identical. I almost had exactly the same trade. So I was trading both of these because the setups actually came at slightly different times. The really silly thing for me, and I just gave away money, which is stupid, on this, but similar sort of setup. I'd convinced myself that price is probably not going to come up anymore. Came down here, and I took a short position here. Just took 2 contracts out at that point. I'd convinced myself that it had, so look back here, I think there was a fair value gap was just here. So I took my first 2 positions short there. I had placed my stop loss, so good, sensible place to place my stop. And there was another fair value gap here. So as the price started to come back up, I just convinced myself, you know what, there's a fair value gap here, so let's place another position here. If you did look at this movement, and this is just something I'm thinking about, I don't know if it's right, but based on this, the price had actually moved this whole range. So maybe the trade would become invalid because we've actually traded through the whole range, and I don't know, it's probably on retrospect a bit of a silly thing, but ultimately I'm glad I had a nice tight stop loss. So both of those stopped out at that level. Lost 57 on the first 2 positions and 147 on the other 4, because I took 4 contracts out at that point. And it was what it was. I looked out for setup again, and luckily for me, price broke above. Nice big. Now when price broke above here, I was actually, if I was going to go short again, I would have waited for a market structure break, which didn't happen. So price is coming down here. If price had actually come down to here, I would have looked for a fair value gap, but because it hadn't come down there was no valid trade. So away it goes, comes back down. So massive shift here, and movement up. So when the price has sort of hit its high, what I'm doing now is I'm looking for a breakup market structure through here. So if prices come down through this level, I'm looking for a fair value gap to form, and when it does, I'll be looking to take a short position, because once again, I'm expecting price to head that direction. So look at this fair value gap just here. For people that aren't familiar or haven't watched any of his series, I'd highly recommend watching the Inner Circle mentorship series, but that is a fair value gap just there. And I'll let you go and watch the videos from ICT. There's another fair value gap up here. If you look right back at the top here, I actually had that marked out on my chart. So I had placed an order for 2 sells here. Price zipped up those two got executed. I had another actually order sitting there, which didn't actually end up getting executed. I had another another two short sells there. Didn't actually execute that. However, those two get executed, and I had my nice, comfortable, conservative take profit target hit there. I thought it may come down here, but I wasn't confident enough, and so I just was happy to take the little meat in the sandwich, as people talk about. So nice trade, bang, $191. This didn't fully cover, or actually, yeah, it didn't actually quite cover the losses I made in that first trade. But remembering I took 2 positions there, 4 there. I suppose on retrospect, if I'd taken 4 here, I would have comfortably made a nice profit out of the Nasdaq. But the S&P trades made up for that. So yeah, there you go. That was the trading, all the trades for last night on TradingView and Trade of 8. And this is that little summary once again. Total profit of $308 for the session. So happy with that. Over traded a bit in the start of the market, so let's see how I go tonight and see if I've learnt my lesson. And I hope you enjoyed it. So that is Chappie's Crypto episode number 10. I hope you're enjoying the video series that I'm doing, and until next time, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.